Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to completely flip the script on how you view, prep, and eat one of the most powerful foods on the planet. I'm talking about the daily egg. If you're over 60 or, just want to maximize your muscle health and longevity, what we're unpacking today is going to be an absolute game changer for your morning routine.
Okay, let's dive into this. Are you actively destroying your breakfast and accelerating muscle loss? I know, it's a shocking question, but we really need to ask it. See, the vast majority of people are cooking their eggs in ways that not only waste vital muscle-building protein, but actually create harmful pro-aging compounds. You might think you're eating a super healthy breakfast, but improper cooking? It could be actively sabotaging your health and accelerating muscle loss right now.
So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The great egg myth, 2. Muscle loss and aging, 3. The worst cooking methods, 4. The best cooking methods, and finally, 5. Your daily egg protocol. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, the great egg myth.
For literally decades, we were told to limit eggs because, cholesterol, right? But get this, the old 300 milligram daily limit has been completely dropped from modern dietary guidelines. When you eat dietary cholesterol, your liver just adjusts and makes less of it. Our source material points out something absolutely fascinating from Dr. Janine, though. What actually raises your bad cholesterol is high fructose consumption. Think way too much fruit juice. And, surprisingly, a lack of natural sunlight. Seriously, getting just 15 minutes of full-spectrum sunlight on your skin can help balance those levels out. So yeah, we can definitely stop fearing the egg.
And what's truly mind-blowing is the sheer density of nutrition in a liquid yolk. A runny yolk isn't just tasty, it's basically liquid gold. It gives you unoxidized cholesterol, which is the exact raw material your body needs to produce hormones like testosterone. It's packed with choline for clearing up brain fog. Plus, it's loaded with intact omega-3s, heat-sensitive vitamins, and anti-inflammatory compounds like lutein and zeaxanthin. But here's the catch. When you cook that yolk solid, you are literally degrading these incredible superpowers.
Moving on to Section 2, muscle loss and aging.
As we cross into our 60s, our bodies go through a major biological shift. We develop something called anabolic resistance. Basically, it means your aging muscles just get stubborn. They start resisting the signals that tell them to grow and repair. Because of this, you can't just eat any protein anymore. You require higher quantities of highly bioavailable protein. You simply cannot afford to waste your protein through bad cooking methods, especially when your muscles are already fighting an uphill battle.
So the magic number you need to remember is 25 to 30. To overcome that anabolic resistance and actually trigger muscle protein synthesis, seniors need 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein per meal. Specifically, you need about 2.5 to 3 grams of the amino acid leucine, which is the literal trigger for muscle growth. If your meal doesn't hit this threshold, you are totally missing the window to rebuild muscle.
Let's look at Section 3, the worst cooking methods.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the dark side of those crispy brown edges on a fried egg. I know some people absolutely love them, but you aren't just getting extra flavor there. You are creating advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are harmful compounds that build up in your body, drive systemic inflammation, damage your blood vessels, and literally put your aging process into overdrive. You're basically taking a superfood and turning it into a pro-inflammatory nightmare. Let's break down the 3 absolute worst ways to cook your eggs. First, frying at high heat in oxidized oils. This creates those toxic AGEs we just talked about and oxidizes the healthy fats. Second, hard boiling them until the yolk is chalky and dry with that dreaded green ring of death. That green ring is iron sulfite, meaning you've completely overcooked it, wrecked the vitamins, and made the protein super tough to digest. And third, microwaving. Just don't. It heats the egg unevenly, creates hot spots that violently scramble and denature the protein, and leaves you with a rubbery, dry mess. The hidden cost of these bad habits is actually pretty staggering. When you use high heat, you don't just make the egg harder to digest, you literally destroy up to 15% of its lysine content. And lysine is a crucial limiting amino acid for muscle building. So if you're frying your eggs to a crisp, you are deleting the exact nutrients your aging, anabolically resistant muscles are absolutely starving for. Okay, let's pivot to the solution in Section 4, the best cooking methods. Here is the absolute gold standard method to save every single gram of nutrition: the perfect soft-boiled egg. The technique is simple, but you gotta be precise. Bring your water to a rolling boil.
Gently lower the eggs in with a slotted spoon, set your timer for exactly 6 to 7 minutes, and then immediately transfer them into cold water to stop the cooking process. This specific timing perfectly unfolds the albumin in the egg white for easy digestion, but keeps that yolk totally liquid, preserving 100% of the protein quality, the vitamins, and those healthy unoxidized fats. Now, if we compare soft boiling to our second best method, poaching, there are some cool nuances. Soft boiling happens at a rapid 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Poaching, on the other hand, is done at a much gentler 180 to 190 degrees in barely simmering water. Because poaching uses even lower heat and requires zero added fat, it actually offers superior nutrient preservation. Plus, the tender white and liquid yolk demand almost zero digestive effort, which makes poached eggs an incredible option for anyone with a sensitive stomach. But hey, I know some of you absolutely refuse to eat a liquid yolk. If you must have your eggs scrambled, this is the only way you should be doing it, the correct, gentle scramble. Lightly whisk them with a fork, heat a non-stick pan on low to medium-low, use just a tiny bit of fat, and then very patiently push the eggs from the edges to the center for about 4 to 5 minutes. Low and slow is the key here. By keeping the heat down, you avoid this toxic AGEs and you still keep about 90 to 95% of the nutritional value. And this brilliantly illustrates our final section, Section 5, your daily egg protocol. Remember, one large egg only has about 6 grams of protein. So to hit that 25 to 30 gram anabolic threshold we talked about, we need to use synergistic pairings. Let's look at this table. If you combine 2 soft-boiled eggs with some Greek yogurt, you get fast-digesting whey plus complete egg protein, yielding up to 26 grams. Put 2 poached eggs over black beans and rice. You're adding fiber and complete carbs for a Latin classic that easily hits 25 to 28 grams. Or try folding some cottage cheese into 3 gently scrambled eggs. It gives this massive creaminess and adds slow-digesting casein protein, creating a 28-gram protein powerhouse. This is exactly how you build a meal. Real quick, I know some of you might be worrying about salmonella with liquid yolks. Let's put that fear to rest right now. In developed countries with commercially produced eggs, the estimated risk is roughly 1 in 20,000. On top of that, the bacteria typically lives on the outside of the shell, so the actual act of boiling or poaching in hot water effectively kills off surface bacteria anyway. It is a remarkably low risk for a massive, massive nutritional reward. When you pull all this together, the value proposition is just unbelievable. At roughly 4 to 7 cents per gram of high-quality bioavailable protein, properly cooked eggs aren't just a superfood. They are literally the most powerful and affordable muscle-building tool you have in your kitchen. They protect your brain, support your hormones, and when you cook them right, they perfectly combat age-related muscle loss, all without breaking the bank. So, I want to leave you with this final thought. You now understand the profound biological difference between a pro-inflammatory fried egg and a nutrient-dense, muscle-building, soft-boiled egg. The paradigm has completely shifted. Now that you know the science, how will you cook your eggs tomorrow morning?